overwhelmed and scared at the state of the world and existential about aliens or taxes or why we're here and it's all too much and it's all too heavy, I stop and I breathe. And it's kind of scary just floating out here, but there's one thing I can do that always helps. I zoom way right back into this moment, right back into right now. If you're feeling overwhelmed and a little bit out of control, just zoom with me for a sec. Right now, you're watching cute little videos on a cute little phone, and there's probably someone or something you love nearby. There's a roof over your head and breath full of life and courage and resilience in your lungs. The past doesn't have a hold on you, the future hasn't happened yet, and this moment, right now, is all yours. I know it's super hard to be positive all the time, and that's just completely unrealistic, but if you find some time to appreciate the little things that are happening in the now, I'm sure you can find a little peace there. You got this. I love you so much. Bye.
You got this. All of you. And all of you. You got this. And we say, well, just be here now. Just be here present. Just let go of all that stuff that happened a long time ago. Let go of all that stuff that may be or may not be happening downstream in the future. But I know I find it challenging sometimes to let go of things that have happened. We can hold on to resentments, hold on to anger, hold on. They did that to me way back, and or I made this mistake here, there, and wherever. It's easy to hang on to that, and it can be, when we allow it, easy to let it go, because where does it live? Where does all that historical stuff live? This right here. And who controls this? Who manages all this? We do. We make choices about what we think about. We make choices about what we talk about, what we discuss. I mean, I don't know about you. I have one or two stories I like to tell about the woe is me story, about bad stuff that may have happened in the past. And they just come out automatically. We get into conversations with new people or with friends or with whatever, and we start talking about, boy, remember when so-and-so did thus and such, and I did that, and we screwed that up. Is it really necessary? Do we not have better things to converse about? Is there a better story we could tell? Maybe a story about the good stuff that I'm doing, the good stuff that happened. But man, it's just not as dramatic, is it? We find it, I know I have in the past, or up until now, I have found it more fun to tell the dramatic story about how I almost died, or how I fell off the roof, or whatever. So the past can have a hold on me to the degree that I allow it. But what do I do with that? How do I let go of it? And maybe what's happened is I've told that negative story to me about myself so often that what I need to do is just reframe it. Maybe I need to look at it just a little bit differently and say, okay, I keep telling this story about, about how, okay, all right, I'll tell that one. So I keep telling this story about how, in high school, I didn't turn in a lot of homework, but I got great grades on my tests. So they couldn't fail me. I didn't get a B. Maybe I got a C plus or a B minus. I didn't get that A that I could have gotten had I put in just a little bit more effort and turned in at least half the homework. But what I can do is I can reframe that and say, you know what? There was a point when I got into college and I finally ran into an instructor who cared enough about me to call me on it because I started doing it in college too. And I finally ran into an instructor that said, you know what, Lee? You're not getting out of the class until all the work is done. This is a pattern that's yours to be broken. So there are gifts in these past events if we take the time to find them, if we take the time to look. And so what's the other part of the equation? The other part of the equation is first we have the past, we have now, but the other part that we need to concern ourselves with is what's happening in the future. All of our imaginings about what may or may not occur later on in life. But to get to the future, we need to let go of the past. We need to let go of, all those things we think may be holding us back. And Ernest Holmes has this to say about the past before we move into the future. He says, the universe holds nothing against us. What? The universe holds nothing against us. No matter how many mistakes we have made, we are still perfect beings within. And the within becomes the without. If we will carefully train ourselves to listen to the inner voice of truth, which seeks us in our moments of quiet and solitude. Seeks us in our moments of quiet and solitude. The universe holds nothing against us. Nothing against us. We do that. And we can choose not to do that. We can decide to just let all of that go. Claim the little lessons out of all of it, all the good stuff, all the learning and growing. Say, okay, I'm here. Now that I've cleaned all that up, I've got this moment, but what about all this that may or may not happen? All the scary stuff that I've created in my mind that says that may or may not happen out there. Or the lofty goals I've set for myself. I'm not quite sure I can get to them. Because I imagine all the things maybe that might go wrong. But they may not. What happens if it goes right? What happens if it all works out? Now, there are those who would say we start imagining all this stuff about the future. We set up all these expectations about the way things are going to be, the way things may or may not happen. We set up all this stuff. Am I in the now? Well, yeah, because I'm in the now planning, right? I'm in the now imagining. But rather than setting up all these expectations that may or may, all these expectations for ourselves, what if we shifted that expectation and just created an intention? And there's a difference for me. An intention says, this is the way I intend to be. This is the way I plan to be. I plan to express the direction I intend to go. Now, I don't know what that road looks like out there. I may have been down this road once or twice, but I don't know absolutely everything that's going to happen. Because when I take that first step or two, everything's up for grabs. Isn't it? I mean, really, everything's up for grabs. What I can do is say, you know what? I'm going to bring the best of myself to bear in any given moment. I may not always be 100%, but I'll be 100% of what I've got, which today might be 80. Or maybe I just need a day to just unplug and just not show up. I'm just going to show up for me and sit on the couch, binge watch something, and eat popcorn. Maybe that's what I've got today. And maybe today I've got a 16-hour workday in me. But whatever it is, I'm going to give all of that and keep the vision and intention in mind that says, this is where I'm going. And I am more than capable to show up for every eventuality that may manifest itself. So what does this have to do with being now? What this has to do with being now is saying what I can manage, what I can control, what I can do with my life is what's in front of me in this moment. I can prepare all I want for the future. I can let go and reframe and relook at and kind of change my relationship with what's gone on in the past. And all of that's happening right now, isn't it? It's all happening in this moment. Eckhart Tolle writes this in his book, The Power of Now. He says, to be free of time is to be free of the need for past, for identity, and future for fulfillment. I am not just simply everything I've done. And how am I to be fulfilled by something that hasn't even happened yet? Why not be that right here? Why not bring so much love to bear on myself right now as I am that I can fill my own cup? That I can simply allow the universe to fill me because I am present with the presence right here where I am. Why not, as Lenny said, just zoom in and be grateful for what's in front of me, what's around me, what's within me, right here and right now. Because, man, all that stuff out there is out of my hands. I can't control it, can't manage it, can't do anything about it. All I can do is take care of my relationship with me, the within, and allow that to be reflected back to me in the without. As within, so without. As I shift my relationship away from what is happening down there and what has happened over here to what's happening right here, all of a sudden, the universe opens itself up to me. Because I'm giving attention to what is right here. And the presence is available to me when I am present. The presence is available to me when I am present. Eckhart Tolle goes on to write this: to know that you are not present, is a great success. That knowing is presence, even if it only lasts for a couple seconds. Do you know? I bet in this room, and I bet everybody online too, do you know when you're not present? So if you know when you're not present, do you know what being present feels like? Yes. Know what being present feels like. When we take time to sit and meditate and just watch our breath coming in and going out. And do it with me. You don't even have to close your eyes. Just breathe in. Let it go. Just doing that with the intention of simply being present, just that activity is powerful. Had another occurrence of serendipity, even just this morning. And Katie came downstairs. I was doing the final draft of my talk this morning, and she pulled up YouTube on the TV to do some yoga. And right below, you know how like below the video they'll show like, oh, you've got these videos available too, and da 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 da. And there was an Alan Watts video. I said, well, when you're done with that, click on the Alan Watts video. And he was talking about just the same thing. About how letting go of the expectations of how we're supposed to be, how we think we're supposed to be downstream in the future sometime, letting go of all that and just allowing ourselves to be present in this moment is a path of freedom. It's a path that allows us to walk in a way where we have opened ourselves and invited in an experience of illumination. We have invited in the light. We have invited in new opportunities beyond what we have imagined before. All of a sudden, we're letting go of the expectations. All of a sudden, we're letting go of, well, they said I'm supposed to be da 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 da. It's like when I joined the debate team in high school, in my freshman year of high school. Every other person on that debate team wanted to be a lawyer. Every last one of them. And they looked at me as if, I don't know, my dad just told me I had to do this. I kid you not. I was like, my dad, my freshman year of high school, said, this is the one class I insist that you take. It was public speaking. If you were in the public speaking class, you were in the debate team. That was just part of the deal. I just was there because Dad said so. Look at me now. I had no expectation of being a lawyer. I had no desire to be a lawyer. So we let go of the expectation because we don't have to abide by what the world says we are supposed to do. We don't have to abide by what our parents have said we ought to be, or our friends say we ought to be, or have the conversations that everybody else is having just because they're having it. Because we have agency. We have the ability to make our own choices. We have the ability to manifest our lives, to speak our word from within this very moment where we are present with the presence. When we are in that place, the words we speak are power. The words we speak are creative. The words we speak are manifest in our lives to the degree that we embrace them in this very moment. Because this moment, when we are present with the presence, aware of it moving in, through, around, and as us, those words are responded to by the law. And the law says one thing, and that is yes. The law responds to us in accord with the dominant tendency of our thinking. Always. It has no choice but to do so. Ernest Holmes says this about the words we speak. The word is a mighty power, and that word is in me and through me now. My word is one with the infinite all good and cannot fail to accomplish the desired ends. My word goes forth with power unto everything I do, say, or think. The word is my power by day and by night. I will speak the word and trust in the great law of life to fulfill it. Speak the words. Speak them silently in your mind and heart. Speak them out loud. Take the time to consider them consciously in our minds and in our hearts, knowing that they are inevitably fulfilled by the law. Now, in this moment, the creative power in you, in me, is active. It is always happening. It is always going on. And the more we practice the presence, the more we practice being present, the easier it is to stay in that place. Grooves are literally created in our brains in accordance with where we spend our time, in accordance with the words we speak about ourselves, in accordance with the words we speak about our lives. The more we practice being present, the more present we become. You take that 5 minutes, that 10 minutes, that 15 minutes, that 20 minutes, each and every day to simply be present with ourselves, to be still and quiet and breathe and watch that breath. And when our mind starts slipping away, we say, we just bring it back. When thoughts start creeping in, just wrap them in a little bubble and let them float away. And come back to the moment. Come back to the now. Come back to ourselves and the presence and the power of God, of Spirit within us. Let it all go. Can't change the past. Can't do anything about the future other than set our own intentions about it. Best we just spend the time being here, being now, and opening the gift that is the present. So, our spiritual practice this week. This week, we will return to a practice we've done before. We set a repeating reminder in your phone at a cycle that works for you, every hour, every 2 hours, every 3 hours, every 10 minutes. When you're notified, pause and bring yourself present. Take a deep breath. Be here now. Look around and say to yourself, I am here right now. Find something you see, something you touch, something you smell. Be present. And take another breath. So practice this week. See how that works for you. Okay? All right. Time for questions. You're up. Questions, comments?
I have a weird one.
Yes, ma'am.
So you said,
When you're saying the word, will you put that slide up about the word, like two back, please? Because that got me, and then you said something, so that
This one.
screws
Oh,
my back.
yeah.
Yeah. So at work,
Yes.
when I say a word that I shouldn't be saying, and you can't take it back. I mean, I can't take it back because I've already said it. I don't know how to be in the present when I'm being attacked.
So is it about the word or about the response you're getting?
The response I'm when I'm being attacked,
Okay.
instead of just keeping my mouth shut,
Right.
I don't.
I go back to, does it need to be said, and does it need to be said by me?
It's hard for me to keep it in. That's what I'm trying to figure out. How can I
Right.
just stay upset inside and then just
Right.
not say anything?
So, yeah, the challenge is going to be, the opportunity is to make a commitment to yourself or set an intention within yourself that says, I'm going to pause and take a breath. I'm going to pause and take a breath. And if you start with that, that will short circuit the cycle. Okay? We call it practicing the pause.
Thank you.
Yes. Anybody else? Anybody online?
Can you hear them?
No, I've got the chat right in front of me. All right. Okay then. All right. Let's practice then. We begin by turning within and allowing ourselves a moment just to be still. To let go of everything that has gone before, anything that may be coming up later. We bring ourselves to this present moment and breathe. And let it go. In this moment, we recognize the one power and presence that is infinite spirit, infinite mind, life, truth, love, peace, and joy. It is all of this and so much more. And it's within this presence that we live and move and have our being, and it in, as, through, around, fully expressing in this moment as us. And everything we see, touch, feel, and experience is its expression as well. In this moment and every moment. Every breath, every thought, every word, every activity is the expression of this spirit. And we are it. And so I speak my word for myself, for everybody here present, everybody online, for the Scottsdale Center for Spiritual Living, all of us, and the community we serve, truly the world, knowing that love points the way. That a spirit of love and joy guides and directs and expresses itself in, through, around, and as each and every one of us right here and now. The light of life as infinite presence and power shines forth, sweeping aside anything unlike itself. For we are truly guided in wisdom to do and to be and to express that which is for our highest and greatest good, and that of all concerned. We know that we are blessed abundantly, that this center and all of its members and all of its friends and the community we serve are lifted up joyfully, prosperously, in health and in wholeness in each and every moment. All is in right and perfect and divine order right here and right now. And we know this blessing goes forth as each and every one of us, the community that we serve, our state, our country, this world, is surrounded in this light. And we know that all is well. And the life is good and very good as each and every one of us. And so we let it be, and so it is.